If you're an aspiring hired gun, you're just getting into the game, you should know that one of the most important aspects of your job is picking the right snare for the situation. But here's the thing, man. Snares are expensive. So maybe you don't have 6 or 7 or 8 different snares to choose from. Maybe you just have one. That's okay, because today we're going to talk about how you can get one snare to do everything. So you've considered yourself to be pretty well versed in many different styles of music, and you want to start. You want to start working as a session drummer. So yeah, like I said, picking the right snare is an important part of the job. Now there's a few different factors that will determine what the right tool will be, I guess, for that situation. There's the artist that you're playing with, the style of music that you're playing, the type of venue that you're playing. Is it outdoor? Is it indoor? Is it big room? Small room? Could be studio session. Could be the ensemble that you're playing with. Like you're dealing with a lot of guitars, or are you playing with a choir, or is it a jazz trio? Like there's a lot of different factors that will determine the right snare for the job. So the truth is, you don't need a giant arsenal of snare drums to do this job. I got about 7 or 8, but there are only 2 that I use on a regular basis. I have this one, which you've seen in several videos. This is a 14 by 6.5 maple sensitive series. And I also have my 14 by 6.5 Dave Weckl signature. That's an aluminum shell. I would almost kind of recommend that you should have at least 2, if you can swing it, 1 wood shell and 1 metal shell, but you don't really need that. But I can make a recommendation for you. So if you're going to have just one workhorse to do it all, I recommend a 14 by 6.5 maple or birch snare. Any one of those 2 woods. If you're only going to have one, make it that size and make it either one of those 2 types of wood. That snare is going to handle pretty much any situation you throw at it. So if you're in the market for one, that's my top pick for the one snare in your bag. Maple and birch are the 2 most versatile woods for drums, in my opinion. As far as the, like if you want to get all nerdy about it, as far as the sound profile, like the EQ profile, maple is, you can think of it as kind of L-shaped, so lows and then the mids and highs are pretty even, like right in the middle. So they're great for almost anything. You get great projection. So that's a very versatile snare. And then the birch, as far as birch goes, birch has sort of been dubbed the naturally EQ'd wood. And that sound profile is like more U-shaped. So lows, highs, and then the mids are just scooped out real nice right in the middle. So this is the reason why birch drums are ideal for the studio, because they sound friggin' awesome in there. And they're easy to mic, and you don't really need to do a whole lot of EQ. So why 6.5? Well, every snare drum has a tuning range depending on its size. And the shallower the shell is, the smaller the tuning range is going to be. And then of course, on the opposite end, right, the wider it gets, the broader the tuning range is. 6.5 is the perfect size because it's kind of right in the middle as far as availability of most snare drums on the market. So you go from 5.5 right up to 8. 6.5 is that really cool sort of versatile size right in the middle. And you can tune that shell to handle almost anything. So we've taken into account the wood type and the shell size. Now let's talk versatility. So yes, I mean, you can take advantage of the size of the tuning range and the 6.5. But one thing that's really going to affect its versatility is the head selection. What head do you have on it? Now the head that you pick for that drum is just going to accentuate the tuning that you already chose for that snare and that situation. So if you're in a situation where you need something super deep and fat, yes, you can drop that thing to the basement as far as the tuning range goes. But if you have the right head on top of that, it'll change everything, right? So let's say you're going for that nice fat sound. Take off that stock head that's on there and maybe drop like a hydraulic or something, or maybe an onyx or just something thicker that that's going to help to enhance that low tuning. And on the opposite end, like if you're going for a nice super tight sounding snare, you want to crank that thing up to the top of the range, you're doing some hip hop or something, then you're gonna tune it to the top of the range with a thinner head on there. So in that case, that stock head that it came with will be just fine. Maybe the next day you're taking that same snare to like a medium-sized room. It's gonna be a good number of people there. You're playing with a vocalist and it's just like straight pocket stuff. Then you can take that thicker head off, put the stock head back on, medium tuning, good to go. 2-3 days later, you're doing a small sort of intimate club or something, doing some swing jazz, maybe some swishing around. There's gonna be, seats 4 or 5 feet in front of you. Then you're not gonna want something super thin and loud and ringy. So maybe you find a drum head that sits somewhere in the middle, something 2-ply. You're gonna maybe tune it up to the mid-high range. And then, you can get all that nice articulation. All those ghost notes are going to come out nice and clean. Thicker head wouldn't have worked in that situation, right? You want to go with something a little thinner with a nice coating to handle the brushes and all that stuff. So you can get an idea now that having a good selection of heads to choose from is important. You can also expand the versatility of your snare with accessories. So if you need versatility in a pinch, there's a couple of things that you can sort of travel around with that'll give you different textures out of your snare drum. Things like towels, wallets, different types of pads. Like none of this stuff should be that new to you. But I have a selection of different homemade little gadgets that I've put together for different situations. This is one that I use. I just drop it on the snare. This is just an old drum head. I cut it out, lined it with duct tape. I just drop it on the snare if I want a nice fat sound. If I want something even fatter, here's another thing that I use. This is an old 14-inch Evans Onyx drum head. I don't know if you can see it from there, but there's a nice fat duct tape X in the middle for reinforcement. Brains. And there's also a really thick layer of folded duct tape just for super added muffling. When I use this, I take the snare right down to finger tight, like there's hardly any tension at all. And it's just, when you stick a mic on it, my goodness, man, it's the fattest sounding snare you've ever heard. So this is when I'm in a situation where I'm gonna have a side snare and it's gonna stay that tuning for the whole gig, then I use this. If I need it just for one song, then I'll drop this. Or here's another pad that I made out of an old drum head. Cut off half of the rim so it's easily snatchable right off of the snare. So yeah, there's a lot of options, man. Now even another step that you can take to expand the versatility of your snare drum is a selection of hoops. So if your snare came with just a regular flanged hoop, you might want to invest in just getting a die-cast hoop for it. If you're a rim shot player, a die-cast hoop is really sort of going to enhance and amplify those cracking backbeats that you do all the time. They also have a slightly different sound profile than just the regular flange hoops. You can order a wood hoop for the top of your snare if you want. That might help to sort of warm it up a bit, especially if you're dealing with a wood snare. So yeah, if you find yourself in a situation where there's going to be a couple of loud guitarists up front cranking away, then maybe you might want to drop a die-cast hoop on that snare. Just, add a little turbo. So between starting with the right snare, the right size, depth, and the right shell material, you get nice broad tuning range along with a selection of heads to complement those tuning ranges, and then a few different accessories in your bag. You can get one snare to crush any situation you throw at it. Now I know some of y'all might have been disappointed that there weren't any actual sound samples here in this video, but trust me, man, there are so many different ones. This video would have been friggin' 2 hours long. But I just thought, this was a cool topic to talk about. We're just a couple of drummers talking, man. So yeah, man, feel free to jump in on this conversation. Thanks for watching this video. Go ahead and share the video if you dig it. Hit that notification bell so you know when the next video is coming out. Like, subscribe. See you next video.